Hi there, my name's Vince from mymatevince.com, and in this video today is part 3 of the PlayStation 4 controller job lot. Now, it's been a long time since I've done part 2, so let me just quickly recap on the first 2 parts. This was part 1, it had a dodgy analog stick. It just needed the potentiometer part of it changing over, because in the job lot I also got a spare board here, and you can see that I took the green thing off this one here, swapped it over into this one. This one's been working fine ever since. There is damage on the controller here, but that is just purely cosmetic. Works perfectly. My son's been using it a lot to play Spider-Man on the, obviously the PlayStation 4. Now, part 2 was these 2 fellas here. Now, these are interesting. Turns out they were both dead because they had battery issues, yet when I took them apart, the batteries looked iffy. They didn't look very professional. So basically, these 2 were both fake controllers, and what happened is I got the batteries working, but they disconnected after every, I think it was 8.5 minutes, because there's a security measure off the PlayStation 4 to stop things like non-standard controllers on their system. So what happened was these were sold, obviously working, PlayStation did an update and then they stopped working. So that's why they were in the job lot. So it turns out these 2 were fake. But I got a very helpful message from a viewer telling me that he had the software, he had the firmware to update it. So he put a link, I still think it's on that video as far as I remember. And basically I updated both of them, but annoyingly, only one of them managed to update. So I was doing the same thing. It's a process you have to go through. It's been many, many months now. I can't remember exactly what it was, but I was doing the same process for both of them. The blue one updated fine. For some reason, the white one didn't, but this will still work as a USB controller. And although it is fake, it still feels nice and stuff. The quality of the inside, the analog sticks are not going to be as good as the Sony ones, but they still work just fine. So this one works perfectly now, up until maybe Sony do another update on their controllers, and then maybe that will stop working. So now we've got 2 left to do, and I've got this for spares. Now this one is going to be part 4. If you have a look here, we've got a problem with drift. So let me zoom right into this here. Right, so if you have a look, can you see this is the left analog stick here? Let me try to get them both in picture. Now watch, see down? Now watch this. Bit by bit, it will start going up again. Is it going to do it for the camera? Okay, well let's move. Oh, there you go. Just as I touched it, it did it. But look, can you see now? There. So we've got a drift issue, sorry, that's my phone. We've got a drift issue going on here, so that's no good. As well as that, have a look at this Z axis here, or Z axis if you're American, and watch this. Can you see it's drifting over to the left? Because when I go to the left, it should be there, to the right, it should be there, and that's the up and down here. But look, can you see it's heading over that way constantly without me doing anything? Sometimes it goes all the way over. So it's behaving itself at the moment, but watch. It is behaving itself now. Okay, you're just going to have to take my word for it that earlier on it was all the way over there. In fact, maybe me just mucking around with it has freed it up. Anyway, you can still see we've got a problem over the other side here with this one here. Even that's behaving itself now. Right, let me just fast forward through this a minute. It's weird that's just suddenly started working well. Right, okay, there you go. So it is very hit and miss, but look, you can see now I'm not touching it. Give it a shake, you know, and you can see we've got a problem there. So I've written that down. We have got the right stick drifting left and the left stick drifting up. Can't spell left properly. There we go. So yeah, that's going to be quite a boring one. So what I'm going to be doing here is, again, if possible, I'm just going to be changing over the potentiometers. Did you see these little green bits at the side? So I'm going to be basically unsoldering the 3 points there, popping this off. I'm taking off the tracks and the wiper. So I'll show you when I do it, but there's 2 carbon tracks on the inside and then a wiper. So I'm just going to be swapping that with the track, the potentiometer that does up and down on this one, and then I'm going to be taking one off this side to do the one that does left and right here. unsolder these little wires here so I can take the board out and work on it freely, and I've just made a note of which colours go where because it's different on different sides. Whether it makes a difference or not I don't know, but I might as well keep it standard. Okay, so if you have a look here, basically these are the little potentiometers, and this is the 40 one here, and inside here there's a little wiper. So often you can clean them and then they will start working again, but then it might not necessarily be a lasting repair, so by swapping it out with a working one it should be better than just cleaning this. So hopefully I've got my two good ones here, so now I'm going to put them onto here. Now you might be wondering why I was using the hot air. So basically to get them off I really struggled in part one, and I also started to struggle on this one here as well, but it was a lot easier when I used the hot air. So this is what I did. I added leaded solder to the existing unleaded solder, and then I used a solder sucker to get most of it up. But they were still down deep, so although the kind of point had come away, they were still in it deep, so I still couldn't get them out. So then all I was doing was, basically, I'd already lifted the green potentiometer out of it. I was just putting this in here, and I was just leaving it just a little bit, not a huge amount, just like that. And then, like that there, then I was just adding heat here, and then by just having this resting on here, then a little bit of pressure there, added heat, would just pull it right the way through. And now you can see that I've got holes here and holes here. So now I'm going to fit the new ones, and well not new, sorry, these ones, and hopefully they will be working. So you can just see them there, like that. Just need to clean out this hole a bit more here. Right, so you can see I've pushed it in there, and now I'm just going to click it into place. And now when I turn it left and right, you can see it moving there, and up and down moving there. So let's solder these back in and then clean it with IPA. Okay, so that's it done. As you can see, it doesn't really look that much different than the factory solder one, so I'm really happy with that. Right, let's pop it back together and let's see if that's fixed it. If not, I'll have to probably change out the whole analog stick. Strange, it's not being recognised at all. What have I done to it? Let's make sure I've got everything plugged in. I made a noise there, but nothing's happening. I'm wondering if I've got a bad connection on this ribbon cable. Strange. Let me just make sure that this is working okay. Oh wow, look, the boards are different. Can you see there? The boards are going to a different place. Look, this is the one with the melted one, and can you see the ribbon cables on the right here with the power for the battery on the left? But look at this, it's the opposite. It's interesting. I wonder why they swapped that over. Thought I'd got it in back to front to begin with. Right, okay, I should still be able to use this though, shouldn't I? Just to plug in. Right, it is working, so that suggests it's a problem with this back thing here. I'm going to look at it closely because it was definitely working earlier on. Right, so if you have a look now, you can see the left analog stick is centering itself. And the right analog stick, can you see it looks stable now? It's not doing all that shaking. Right, let's test it properly later. I just want to find out what's going on now with this back thing here. So we know it's definitely a problem with the back. Must be the ribbon cable. Let's swap the ribbon cables over. Got a crack on the glass here, the plastic, but I'm hoping when it's back together that will stay in. Right, okay, so it's a dodgy ribbon cable, so I'm going to look at that closely in a minute. Let's get this back together, and then we can test this one out, and then I'm sure I can buy them off eBay very cheaply. Right, okay, so this is the one without the burn here. Turn it on, you can see that the light's flashing. So now let's plug it into here, and just to show you the analog sticks are now working. Right, okay, so if you have a look here now, left analog stick, up, down, left, right. Right, I think that's okay, and the right analog stick. Right, that appears to be okay. I can test it out on the PlayStation later. So now we need to find out what's happening with the ribbon cable here, find out why it's gone faulty. Right, okay, if you look at the contacts here, well, let's start on this side here. Can you see they go right to the very tip? This one here, can you see that this one's folded back on itself ever so slightly? So look, they go all the way to the tip apart from this one. And I can just see it's just folded. So I'm going to try to push it back. There we go. I can't see if that's gone back or broken. Give me a minute. There we go. Now I've pushed it back. No, now I've knocked it off completely. Right, let me try to add a tiny bit of solder to that one there. Actually, do you know what? Would it be that? I'm thinking, would it go right the way to the very tip, or is it more likely to do with where it's creased here? The thing is, you haven't really got a choice. When you push it in from this, it is always going to be a bit creased there. because that's where that thing ends. I'm going to do a continuity test from each side because it might not be that pin at all, in which case there's no point in messing with the solder. Because I'm thinking when it goes in, the contact should be past that pin anyway. Right, so I'm just on continuity and I'm going to go side to side. No, already we don't have continuity there. Wow, we haven't got continuity at all. Yeah, listen. Can you see? Yeah. Right, okay. Yeah, there you go, it's gone again. Right, so I'm going to have to buy one of these cables. Just going to have a look online, see how much they are. Right, so I've had a look on eBay and there's various different types. There's 10 pin, there's 12 pin and there's 14 pin. Now I've counted all these pins here and there is 12 of them. So what I'm going to do is, just in case I come across them in the future, I can get it for £1.35, another person selling it for £1.25. But look here, I can get 3 of them for £1.75. So I'm not going to argue with that, I'm not going to waste any time. I'm just going to pay £1.75. When that arrives, I can just pop it back in the burnt controller because remember now I've put that one in the one I've just fixed now. But yeah, if £1.75 to get the controller working is, in my opinion, well worth it. So I'm going to order that up now and let's get started on this second controller.